Hello. Today we are going to discuss the basically third part of nutritional management of metabolic diseases, which include your inborn errors of metabolism. Okay. So in the last class, my colleague has already discussed about gout, and before that we have discussed about diabetes. Today we are going to discuss inborn error of metabolism. So what do you understand by the term inborn error of metabolism? It means some genetic defect that has been passed on to an individual in his or her genetic build-up. Okay, so there are 5 types of inborn errors that we are going to discuss. First is your phenylketonuria or PKU as we know it. Next is your tyrosinemia. Third is your maple syrup urine diseases, MSUD. Fourth is your homocystinuria, and your fifth is your galactosemia. Okay. So now we'll start with phenylketonuria. What is phenylketonuria? The essential amino acid is utilized for tissue protein synthesis and hydroxylated to tyrosine. The hydroxylation reaction requires hydroxylase. Phenylketonuria is a group of inherited disorders of phenylalanine metabolism caused by impaired phenylalanine hydroxylase activity. Okay, so PKU cannot break down into another amino acid, which is your tyrosine. Phenylalanine builds up in the bloodstream and causes brain damage. So basically it is the enzyme impairment of phenylalanine hydroxylase, okay, which cannot break down your phenylalanine and it accumulates in your bloodstream and causes your brain damage. Next point, accumulation of phenylalanine and its catabolic products leads to central nervous damage. The extent of damage causes to the brain develops on the time at which the insult occurs. Deficient myelination and abnormalities in brain proteolipids and proteins occur in late gestation and during first 6 to 9 months of it in the fully mature brain. The synthesis of neurotransmitters is affected. This might cause nerve degeneration, behavior difficulties, and delayed development. So basically, it is related with your neuro problems and your brain degeneration. Next, we move on to clinical manifestations of PKU. Phenylketonuria, commonly referred to as PKU, occurs at the age of 3 to 6 months. It is characterized by developing mental delay, microcephaly means abnormally small head, abnormal electroencephalogram, eczema, and mostly odor and hyperactivity. Now there is a formula known as lopinavir. Okay, so we'll discuss what is a lopinavir. Lopinavir is a formula which is nutritionally complete except for phenylalanine. This formula is the main diet for the infant suffering from PKU. The diet should be progressed as for a normal infant and child. Utmost care should be taken while introducing new food products to them. Efforts should be taken to develop a variety of recipes using foods low in phenylalanine. Phenylalanine is basically found in milk, cheese, eggs, fish, meat, beans, nuts, and infant formulas, both regular and soya, and to a lesser extent in cereal, vegetables, and fruits. People with PKU cannot break down phenylalanine into another amino acids, which is the tyrosine. So phenylalanine then builds up in the bloodstream and causes brain damage, as you learned earlier. Okay. To avoid a person can eat a diet that includes a low phenylalanine formula. They can eat a diet which is high in your fruits, vegetables, sugar and other low protein foods. So basically avoiding high protein food, okay, food, also proteins that is coming from your milk, also the one that is coming from your soya. So if you avoid all these things, then you can avoid the phenylalanine buildup in your bloodstream. So next slide will show you how to choose your phenyl-free food choice. So it is a description or a illustration of food which are low in your phenylalanine. So there you have refined beans, you have corn, you have juices, low protein breads, pastas, okay, fruits, vegetables and all. Next we move on to the next step of inborn error of metabolism, and that is a tyrosinemia. So now what is tyrosinemia? Tyrosinemias are, as the name suggests, are due to defects in tyrosine catabolism. Depending on which enzyme is absent or defective, different kinds of symptoms appear. Accordingly, 3 distinct defects have been identified. Tyrosinemia 1. This occurs due to the deficiency of the enzyme fumarate acetoacetate hydrolase. Failure to properly break down tyrosine leads to an abnormal accumulation of tyrosine and its metabolites in the liver, resulting in severe liver diseases. There is a progressive liver and kidney failure in the disease, and hence is also called hepatorenal tyrosinemia. Okay, so tyrosinemia 1 is the deficiency of your enzyme phenyl acetoacetate hydrolase, which leads to your improper breakdown of tyrosine. Later there is a tyrosine accumulation and it's metabolized in the liver, which resulting in a severe liver disease. Next you have a tyrosinemia 2. This condition is caused by deficiency of hepatic tyrosine aminotransferase, also commonly called tyrosine transaminase. Okay, this is also again a deficiency of your enzyme. It catalyzes the first step in the catabolism of tyrosine, forming the corresponding keto acid, p-hydroxyphenylpyruvic acid. There is moderate mental retardation. Tyrosine and phenylalanine restricted diet is essential. So tyrosinemia 2 basically deals with the deficiency of hepatic tyrosine aminotransferase. Okay, which leads to your moderate mental retardation, as because the tyrosine and phenylalanine is accumulated in your bloodstream. Now, what is helpful if a patient or a person is having tyrosine and phenylalanine restricted diet, then it can be helpful for the patient. Next, we have neonatal tyrosinemia. In neonatal tyrosinemia, the defective enzyme is p-hydroxylphenylpyruvic hydroxylase, which normally converts p-hydroxylphenylpyruvic acid to homogenesic acid. The condition is asymptomatic and is more common in premature infants. We are going to discuss the foods to be avoided in tyrosinemia. The points are: foods that all children with tyrosine should avoid are foods rich in protein, milk, chicken, fish, milk, cheese, beans and legumes, peanut butter and eggs. Foods with moderate amount of protein can be eaten in limited amounts. These foods include grains, bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, corn and peas. Foods with little or no protein. These foods include most fruits and vegetables. Low protein products including bread, pasta, noodles, rice, etc. may also be used. Therefore, we may conclude by saying that bread, cereals, fruits and vegetables fats are allowed. A high carbohydrate feed providing 65 to 75% of the calories may be recommended. Okay, so next inborn metabolism error we are going to discuss is maple syrup urine disease or MSUD. Maple syrup urine disease is a rare genetic disorder where the body is unable to metabolize three branched-chain amino acids leucine, isoleucine and valine due to the deficiency of an enzyme complex which is a branched-chain alpha ketodehydrogenase. Okay, they lack this enzyme and hence they are not able to metabolize the branched-chain amino acids. These three amino acids are normally metabolized to keto acids and then decarboxylated into simple acids. In MSUD disorder, an oxidative decarboxylase in the white blood cells is missing. Since the carboxyl groups cannot be removed, there is an accumulation of branching keto acids and their amino acid precursors. The branched-chain alpha keto acids are relatively acute neurotoxin and probably interfere with oxygen consumption and ATP production in the medullary reticular substance of the brain. Okay, there is a progressive neurological dysfunction and production of fragrant urine with odor of burnt sugar or a maple syrup. So this is the signature thing about MSUD, that fragrant urine with the odor of burnt sugar or maple syrup is observed. Next we go to the clinical manifestation. Neurological impairment in the newborn is by suckling, intermittent periods of rigidity and flaccidity, impaired enzyme deficiency, seizures, apnea, and sometimes death may occur. Next, as we know, diet is an essential part. So we will consider to what kind of diet should be given to an MSUD patient. Basically, a child should involve, or what a diet should be involving and what should be not given. Measured quantities of natural protein are used from foods. BCAA or branched amino acid free protein, vitamin and mineral supplement should be given. The natural protein and vitamin mineral supplement should ideally be evenly distributed through the day to allow maximum utilization of the amino acids for protein anabolism, also for tolerance of the supplement. Free foods that are low in branched amino acids, including sugars, fats and oils, as well as foods specifically produced for a low protein diet, which is example bread, biscuit, pasta, etc. and supplements can be given. Supplements of valine or isoleucine are also sometimes helpful. Next we are going to discuss the another form of inborn metabolism of error, which is known as your homocystinuria. Homocystinuria may result from errors of methionine metabolism. This produces defects in the function of cystathionine beta synthase or 5-methyl tetrahydrofluorate homocysteine methyl transferase. Okay. The most common form of homocystinuria is caused by a deficiency of the enzyme cystathionine beta synthase. This enzyme is essential for the conversion of homocysteine to cystathionine. Severely impaired enzyme function produces accumulation of plasma, homocysteine and methionine and decreased cysteine in cells. Large amount of homocysteine are excreted in the urine. If this is unattended early in life, skeletal changes, dislocated lenses, intravascular thrombosis, osteoporosis and mental retardation might occur in the patient. Therapeutic dose of pyridoxine which is 1 gram per day, is usually tried in all patients with hypermethionuria and homocystinemia. For patients who do not respond to pyridoxine, methionine restricted diet supplement with L-cysteine is used. Also, homocystinuria can also be a deficiency of your folate or vitamin B6 or B12. Okay. So next, moving on to your foods and food items containing very levels of methionine. So this is the tabulation form of which food contains a high amount of methionine, which contains a medium amount. And so basically, by looking at the amount of methionine content, you can prescribe that in the patient's diet. Okay, so moving on to your last inborn metabolism of error, we have galactosemia. So now, what is galactosemia? Galactosemia is a genetic disorder caused by deficient functioning of 3 enzymes, which are namely your galactokinase, galacto-1 phosphate, uridyl transferase, and UDP galactose 4 epimerase. Okay. Galactose derived from the hydrolysis of lactose in the intestine is absorbed normally, but in the presence of GAL1P transferase, it leads to the accumulation of galactose. So basically, when there is an absence of this enzyme GAL1P transferase, galactose accumulate in the blood. Galactose 1 phosphate and galactylol in the blood and tissue also accumulates. Accumulation of this has been attributed to many of the negative effects of galactosemia, which is the GALT deficiency or galactose 1 phosphate uridyl transferase deficiency, galactokinase deficiency, and epimerase deficiency with glucose. Okay. So what happens when there is your deposition of galactitol or galactase? So we can say that cataract. Okay, patients. Why do a cataract develop? Patients with galactokinase deficiency suffer from cataract, which is your galactitol accumulates in the lens of the eyes, creating an osmotic gradient that allows the glutathione from the lens to efflux. Due to this, the concentration of glutathione in the lens is decreased. Glutathione peroxidase and hydrogen peroxidase are inactivated. As a result, hydrogen peroxidase accumulates in the lens, denaturing the proteins of the lens. This leads to the production of lenticular cataract. Some infants are born with cataract, jaundice, and cirrhosis. So, how do you treat with this? Treat this metabolism error with the help of diet therapy. So, diet therapy treatment should begin in the first few days of life itself. The goal of dietary treatment for galactosemia is to minimize the galactose intake, which in turn minimizes your galactose 1 phosphate production. Therefore, dietary treatment of galactosemia is to remove any food containing galactose from the diet. Because milk and milk products are the most common food source of galactose, persons with galactosemia should avoid these foods. Quote, it should be noted that they should be avoiding these foods. Diagnosis of galactosemia is by measuring the activity of GAL1 transferase in electrocytes. Galactose should be restricted if the GAL1 transferase is elevated above 2 mg per dl. Okay, so now you can see a tabulated form of galactose content by the food. So you have cow's milk, you have human's milk, in some infant formula, soya protein isolate, casein hydrosilate, whole casein, aged cheddar cheese, fruits and vegetables, legumes. You have Under legumes you have your beans, baby lima, kidney beans, okay, lentils and soybean. So you might want to avoid those kind of food. So now we have discussed the inborn error of metabolism. What are the types and why are they? What are the types on the basis of what deficiencies they have been categorized, and what type of diet therapy should be utilized in order to maintain the nutrition balance or in order to maintain the health of the person. Okay, so we'll see you next time. For now, it's thank you and good night.